City too. Read Pig City, Staff's book. It's a good
No,
read.
I haven't read that one.
It's a good read. Everyone read it? Write that down. Pig City. Write that down, mate. Pig City.
Luke's been cracking gags all night, so yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what he says now. He wants you on points.
No, that's Tuesday. Yeah.
So I think we're talk about the game. Happy to talk about the game. Obviously, the story for us, I guess, is the contribution Luke's made to our footy club, and I guess over the course of the night, we let him know before the game it was going to be the last one. It was it not only hits him, I think it hits everyone else around you, and the persons he's been to our footy club has been enormous. And Angus touched on it in our post-match address, and just what his contribution has been to our footy club. And we all measure our contribution sometimes by kicks, marks, handballs, and stat sheets, and then there's other things you can't measure it by about the impact that they have, not only just what they do, but what they leave behind. And I think Luke Power's certainly done that. As playing with him and also coaching him, he's an outstanding person and courageous in the way he goes about his business, and I guess he's just made a fantastic contribution to our football club. So could talk about the game if you want me to, I can, but I'll probably hand you over to this bloke. He's the one who's probably going to...
Can I ask you one question about Luke before we...
Yep.
8 top 5 best and fairest. It's an extraordinary consistency, isn't it?
Yeah, he raised that in his post-match. Yeah.
Was it only 8?
Yeah, he raised that. Yeah.
I did raise that.
Yeah, I did raise it. But it is, and that's...
I'll tell the story.
Yeah, and he'll share it. It is, and that's. I think that when you look at durability and resilience, it's a definite quality that if you can build within your football club, it's really important. I mean, we're going through the bit of that ourselves at the moment. I mean, just the ability to be able to keep our players out there is hard, and for that to be able to be out there, I mean, he's training to the end, and he's had that resilience through his body, but it's also through his performances that, he's been very, very consistent and well recognised in that regard, in our best and fairest and other awards. So, he's probably more known for his speeches at best and fairest, but he's just level of consistency over a long period of time, I think, is a mark of a champion, and that he has been for our football club for sure.
One final one, sorry, Bossy. Sorry, Luke. They've always talked about the Fab Four. At the end of Luke's career, should it have been 5? I mean, he finished alongside those other great players in the midfield. Oh,
well, I think that, time has said that. I mean, probably the only way at the time was he was probably a little bit younger than us, and probably why he fell into that category, I guess. But yeah, certainly when the depth of being able to have the depth like that with Luke being in there and coming through the midfield was not talked about, but they're the unsungs in some way, the ones that sort of slip under the guards, and he was able to do that and do it at a very high level, and to say that an unsung and Luke Power is probably not the right sentence, but he was able to do that through that premiership years, and then obviously became a leader in his own right, and took over that role in our football club, and hopefully learn a thing or two from some of the blokes around at the time, but certainly he's been able to step up, and everyone that talks about Luke, either by a mentor or personal friend or an absolute mate, and that's definitely a hallmark of a person and his contribution to the footy club.
What brought you to the decision?
Look, I had a few meetings with Bossy this week. It was pretty during the year that there'd been times when I guess I found it tough. But I had a chat to Bossy this week. I mentioned last week, I think in the interview, I was actually keen to play, mainly because I was excited by where the group was going. The last 5 weeks, I've just seen so much improvement in our group with the direction they're going. I think that Bossy's the right man for the job. I think that Dean Moran's doing a great job. I think that Malcolm's doing a great job. Dave and Kate, you're doing a great job too. I just think that everyone at the club's doing a great job, and I didn't want to. A large part of me didn't want to miss out on that. But after talking to Bossy and I realised that that the club, I guess the club's priorities and my priorities probably weren't along the same line. But at the end of the day, it's a mutual decision. I think I went back later in the week just to one more try to see one more crack. But that I'm not leaving anything but praise for this bloke and for the football club. I love the club. You know, I love everything to do with it. It's been like a family for me for the last 14 years.
It's like your last game. What are you playing this week?
Sorry?
It's like your last game.
Yeah, well it was funny. I told Vossi at 5:20 before the game that it was my last game.
Are you serious?
Well, I went away, and next week was going to be my last game, and I couldn't sleep last night, and I had a really bad night. Not a bad night, you know. That's not a bad night if you can't sleep, but just had a tossed and turned, and I just thought, Gabba, home crowd, you know, all the boys will be here. It's time to do it this week. I need to move on, and the club needs to move on too. I'm looking forward to the club playing one of the younger boys next week, and seeing them doing well against Sydney, where we're hitting the line hard. And you know, I'm going to enjoy sitting back and probably with my great mate Craig Bolton in Sydney and having a beer or two and watching.
It sounds like you made a very tough call, Vossi, on Luke's future if he wanted to carry on.
It's not about that. It's yeah. It's got nothing to do with, you know. It's you know, he's. But we had a chat and he said how he thought as a friend and as a coach, and you know it made the decision.
So what's to make that call too? Would that?
I guess it got it in my mind, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. As I said before, I go away with nothing but admiration, and Vossi and Jonathan Brown are definitely the right people to lead this club forward.
Vossi, do you want to say something about that? The decision?
Oh no, we've been in constant dialogue. It's you know, we've had that through the course of the year, and you get to the back end of the year, and you know, those conversations got to become a little bit more serious. So yeah, it's not you wake up one day and shit all happens. It's although it probably was for Luke last night, apparently.
I was
but yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, he's been a champion of the club. As Luke said, he's a personal friend of mine. So growing up together, really. So it makes it a bit different.
One of the hardest parts about moving on from player to coach, receiving Rachel's certainly portrayed now in the league, the main sort of guys who played, you've got to sometimes make decisions on their careers.
I think, as Luke said, it was you know, we've been in constant dialogue during the week, during the year. So I guess you eventually end up mutually sitting together down and talking about that. So I guess you know, if Luke sort of sat there and sort of said, "Rightio, well, I'm going to put my hand up and back myself in," well, you know, you've got to have that conversation too. So so yeah, no, it was just sort of something that evolved over the course of the year, and you know, through a lot of chats and a lot of honest chats, this is where we are.
Has it been weighing on you, Luke, this season at all, thinking about what you're going to do next year?
Yeah, I've had a few big things weighing on my mind this year. Yeah, the CBA. It's you always, I guess, think about it at times. You know, I won't lie, but you know, has an effect the way that I prepare myself to play and the way that I play. So it's.
And did you tell the playing group before the match?
We told them just before we were about to go out for the warm up. Look, I didn't want to make it about me. I didn't want to make it a distraction, you know, on the group. It sort of was what it was. It was just something that I woke up this morning and I thought, let's do it and let's move on. And I think Vossi was like, wow, because I tend to analyse things, and I guess for me I needed to just to go bang and make the decision and get on with life.
I think the group played 97.